That's what happens when I'm in a meeting until 5 minutes. That usually never happens. In fact, it never has. Let's see, is it recording? Yes. Okay, so we're recording now. And we're going to talk about, since the semester has already started, I want to ask y'all, I'm watching the participants box. I'm going to clear it. Give me a green check mark if you need me to go over course copy, because I've kind of edited it this semester. I will be glad to go over course copy. And I know that Julie has something she wants me to talk about when it comes to copying. We have and those are the people who are probably trying to get in, but wanted to talk about adjusting events and due dates, and also selecting content. Kim says, I have a lot of instructors saying the date sync on course copy doesn't work this semester. Absolutely, I have had it work. Now, it may not have worked yes, Julie wants us to go through adjusting events and due dates, and then Kim wants us to go over copy. I have had it work up until Friday. I mean, I haven't done it Monday or Tuesday or today. But there were some things that Julie said the instructors didn't know here at Hines. And so she said, please be sure you go over that, because a participant may need to know that. They've copied, but maybe it didn't work exactly right, and they're having to manually adjust their dates, or they have to go in and redo their syllabus and redo their homepage, and there are ways around that to make your life easier. So yes, I'm going to actually share my screen. Let me see which one I want to share. Okay. Here it is. I've got lots of stuff I want to give y'all. So just sit tight. I have to switch over. Y'all know this. This is a new tool for all of us, and I want to make sure I am sharing the appropriate screen. Y'all should see the MSVCC Academy course, pre-semester tips and tricks. Give me a green check mark if that's what you see. This is where a lot of things are. I've put so much content in here to help y'all, especially if I only get to go over it for a second. You can come back here and look at it. Any Hines instructors, if y'all want to get into this, I will send y'all the link to get in. So this is your resource, and this is where I'm going to show you the import course content. We're going to talk about those two things. You know, when you go to copy a course, you go to settings, and then you come over here and you import course content. That's what you click on. And then you are going to select copy a Canvas course. Now, let me say this. A lot of people are hesitant to ask these questions because they don't want people to know they teach at different schools. If you need to export and import, that's okay. Unless your school tells you can't teach for another school. I have a few instructors that teach for Itawamba, Delta State, and they're asking me questions, and they don't want to tell me it's because they imported to another Canvas instance. That's okay. Just know that if you teach for another school, or you want to share your course content with another instructor, you can export. Let me show you where that is. Canvas course export packages if you want to pull it in. So I'm just going to show you that. But you go to settings and you click on export course content. You can do that. A lot of our instructors have playground shells on our Hines Canvas instance, but they also have a playground shell over at canvas.instructure.com, and they want to work on their course because they're changing textbooks, or they want to revamp something, or they've gotten new outcomes from the state. You can export your course content from your institution's Canvas and import it somewhere else, and that's what you would choose. But when you're just copying, you want to click import course content, and you want to copy a Canvas course. Now, we're not going to do that right here. Let me go into hold on one second. We'll go into a playground shell because I just know I'm going to mess this whole thing up, and I've spent a lot of time creating pages for y'all. playground. Let's just go into, let me go into Collaborative Cafe, Julie. Just kidding. Goodness grief. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. I'm trying not to scroll too fast so y'all don't get nauseous. All right, so we're going to go into settings, and this is fine. We can import something. Import course content, and we're going to choose copy a Canvas course, and that's where you go and you search. So let's just, I'm going to get one of my sociology courses. Spell it right, has more. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Here we go. Sociology master course. I want something out of that sociology master course. Now, this is where instructors are. This is a little nugget they didn't know. You can select specific content and get everything, but a few things to make your life easier. And also adjust events and due dates. This is so important. You have to know the dates that your course started on and ended on, the one you're copying from and copying to. This is very important. Now, Kim says this wasn't working for her in her course and for some of her instructors, but it has worked for us. I know through Friday because I helped somebody do it. They had to reset their course content and pull it back in. It does not copy enrollment data. So the teacher is in there being sent from your sys files or whatever. Your students are in your course, but this is a content copier, not enrollment copier. So it doesn't overwrite in your enrollment. So keep that in mind. Now, in this pre-semester or semester tips and tricks, I've got old calendars in here. The reason I keep those in there is so that you'll have access to the calendars if you need to go look up. Now, who knows the other way to go look up beginning and end dates in your course? Let's see who's muted. I can't see anybody. Who knows why? Who knows where you can find the dates for the course you're copying? Because you may be copying summer into spring. Where do you find? That's right, Kim Ellis, settings. You can actually click on settings. I always open things in a new tab, and you can find the beginning and end dates for most courses. Hello.
Y'all, hey, please mute your mic.
I'm muting them.
Okay.
Not you, but I'm muting everybody else. Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. This is not a good one to look at because it is a playground, but you should find the beginning and ending dates. Now, your beginning and end dates might be a day off. Like it may, because this is when students can get in and see. And you are wanting the weekly dates, like what was that Monday? So your course may have a Saturday date here for start, and you change it to Monday or Tuesday. Does that make sense? So because you're wanting to tell Canvas, hold on, you're wanting to tell Canvas when the student's week starts. It starts on Monday to Sunday. Okay, so tell me another course date. This is something else that messed somebody up. We actually Hines started on Tuesday this semester, and has for a while because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And so when she went and copied her course, she put Tuesday as the start date. Well, you really want to put that Monday because you don't want Canvas to think that all our weeks start on Tuesday. So sometimes that can cause some issues with the adjust events and due dates, because then all your weeks will be, you're telling it, my courses start on Tuesday through Sunday. Does that make sense? Or Tuesday to Saturday, if you don't adjust it by what's in that course settings. So keep that in mind. All right, so if that confuses you, hold your questions to the end, and I'll go through and show you exactly if that doesn't make sense. So we're going to say the beginning date was, we're going to say August 21st. Well, we don't want to put the 21st because we don't want Canvas to think our weeks always start on Tuesday, so we're going to say the 20th. The first week will be a little bit different. We may have to adjust those due dates by hand, but it's only 1 week instead of all of them. And then we're going to say the new start date is going to be March the 12th. Let's say the 19th, because I think 19th may be second 8 week. And then we're going to say the ending date was December 7th. And we're going to change that to May the 9th, May the 10th. All right, we're just going to say we've taken a 16-week course and squashed it into an 8-week course, and you can do that. And then you would want to import. And when we do that, and you can also remove dates if you want to. If it's a training course and you don't really have that many dates, you can remove dates. But then if it's an actual Canvas course and students need to know due dates, you won't want to do that. So we're going to click on this adjust events and due dates, and we're going to import all content, but we're selecting it. So watch. So when you do, people are really nervous to do that select content when they only want one file or one module or one assignment, and I get that. So a lot of people like to import into an empty playground shell if they have one, but it's not necessary because you can actually go in and cherry pick. So if semester's already started and you need to go into your summer course, you copied your fall into your spring, but you need to go into summer and grab that really good page you created, but you don't want to copy and paste. You can actually come in here and go to pages, which I wish they called this pages and not wiki pages. That can be confusing. And you can just click on, I want that, read this information first because it's a really dang good page and I want to pull that in. And that's all you have to get. You can actually come in and only grab a file. If you only wanted this pre and post test sociology document, you could actually only grab that. But what Julie was talking about today, what she wanted me to remind everybody, because she's been working with teachers about this, you can get all the modules, assignments, quizzes, question banks, discussion topics, etc., and you don't have to get the course settings. And you don't have to get the syllabus body, since those are things that you may want to create from scratch. You can leave those off. Sometimes that helps so you don't have to redo your homepage. And you're like, why did I grab this syllabus body when all I have to do is copy and paste the text and I have to pull in a new syllabus anyway? So you can leave that off. I know a couple of instructors who have publisher material and it's mixed in with the material, like my Social Lab, this is old. They may want all their chapters that they created themselves. So they're just going to say, I want it all. And then I'm going to go down here, I'm going to take off my Social Lab because we don't have my Social Lab anymore. And I'm going to take off introduction module because the introduction module changes every semester. So do know that you can come in here and do that. That saves a lot of people a lot of time. I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but since we do record these, I want to make sure that we say these things in the recording because you would not believe the, relief people feel when they know that they can do this. They don't have to get everything. They can come in here and they can go to question banks. Let's just say you have a whole bunch in here and you only want some of them. See how many are in here in this playground course? They may come in here and say, I just want a few of these. They may come in here. Let me see. I know y'all are probably getting nauseous looking at that. You may not want all the files, or you may want all the files, but you don't want the LTI external tools. You can look and see what that is. Well, I don't want that, so I definitely would leave that out. You don't have to copy everything. Does anybody else want to see anything else about content selection? I'm actually only going to pull in modules. I think that's the only thing I have selected. Should have gotten rid of that. Does anybody want to see anything else? This cherry picking of content really does work. If you only want one file, you can grab one file. All right, I'm going to select content. It says it's queued. So we should be able to go look at that in a minute. You see how it's running. Doesn't take long usually, but does anybody else want to see anything else when it comes to the course? Copy. So you can import, export. So let's just go back to settings and let me show you that real quick. Before you copy, you want to clean up your master shell. Who knows what you can delete out of a master shell? That's something really important we need to talk about. And as you're teaching your courses this semester. Okay, let's export this course content. I clicked on export, and I'm going to show you how to import it. It's very simple. Now, this is the other thing. Did you know you can export just your quizzes? You can export just your quizzes. And you can export a course. So we're going to export the course. So we're going to create the export. It may take a few minutes. The files cannot be downloaded after 30 days. It used to be 500. That's something that people need to know. So if someone, if you exported some quizzes and you want to give them to somebody, you may have to come in and re-export them. Remember that. Before you copy your course, you need to make sure you clean up your room. Think of your course as your room. There are things that you need to get rid of. You need to get rid of anything that your students in that master shell, I'm calling a master shell a concluded course, anything your students did not access. You don't want your course that you're copying from fall into spring. You don't want that fall course to be the junk drawer of courses. You know, I have one in my kitchen. I actually have a junk pile. My mother drives my mother crazy. She comes over and says, do something with that. So you need to go in and get rid of those things. You need to clean up your files, the files that are copies of everything, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. You want to make sure you clean that up. Now, what you don't need to take out are anything in that concluded course that students accessed. You can take it out later on after you copy it, but you don't want to take it out before, because if you ever need to go in there and prove something, that a student did something. Let's say there's an assignment that the fall of 18 is the last time you're going to do it. Spring of 18, you no longer want that one. Leave it in there and delete it later. That's real important for any kind of student affairs issue. A lot of teachers are like, and then we're going to talk about what to do if you do delete it. So here we've got our export, and I'm going to save link as. And I am going to call this export. I'm going to go put this in an export file. It's my export sample. Gradebook Playground export. And then I'm going to put 12319 so we can go back and find it. So all you do after you export, and you have cleaned up your master shell, you cleaned out everything is out of there that the student didn't touch in that concluded course. Then you can go over here, import course content. And who remembers what do you choose from the drop-down menu if you're not just copying course to course? You're going to do a Canvas course export package. When you browse, it will allow you to find it. We're going to go to export sample. And we should be able to find that very easily. Let's look for today. Here it is, Gradebook Export Playground. We click it, open, and it's right here. And now, even with export and import, you still can choose to do all content, specific content, adjust events and due dates, and grab that one little thing. So if Kevin from Northwest needed something from me here at Hines, this is how I would share it to him. I would say, yeah, you can have my course. But he would be like, I don't want your syllabus body. So he could actually come in here and select specific content. So he wouldn't have to have my syllabus. He just wants my modules, that kind of thing. So, there's nothing wrong with sharing stuff. I share my sociology course with anybody that wants it here at Hines. I share it with them. They like it because I have all my outcomes aligned. So that's kind of the reason why you might want to share something like that and only get specific content. And I may want to remove the dates because I'm only grabbing things and I've got my own assignments, or I'm going to go in and maybe my calendar's different. I'm teaching a second 8 week and Kevin's teaching a 16 week. So I don't want any of the due dates. So I would click this and remove dates. So y'all don't be hesitant to share things with people, and know that Canvas is very good at allowing you to share from either school to school or between teachers at your own school or for yourself. All right, let's look at files. This is the one thing I said I was going to show y'all. When you copy, there's a real issue with, and I've probably cleaned up all my images. I'm probably not going to have a lot of Let me go. I try to do this for y'all. I try to leave iterations in some of these courses so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's just go look at my dual credit course. I'm going to go to files real quick. I don't know that there'll be that many in here. Let's just go to pages. That's just easier. View all pages. Let's see what's in here. Okay, see right here it says how to write an essay paper -2. That's because when I copied, that got stuck in there. How to write an essay paper is in there as well. You don't want a lot. See, my files are not that bad. My pages are not that bad because I go in, as I clean up my course after I copy it, I go in and I get rid of this kind of thing. Module 4 overview, that's a -2 because I changed it afterwards. So that's the one that's actually in there now in lecture materials, okay? So go in and clean all that up before you copy so that you don't get, I mean, I've seen people with -27 in their course. They've been teaching since for 7 years in Canvas and they've got 27 copies. I'm like, oh my goodness. That can get very confusing because you don't know what is in a module. It just gets to be a mess. So do clean those things up. Try to go into your files and clean out your 2016 syllabus images that you know are not in your course anymore. This takes a little bit longer getting all, this is all of my files, but then I've got just my PowerPoints in here. Click on that so you can see these are just PowerPoints. Try to get things organized in your file area before you copy so that it's not copying over a mess after mess after mess. Does that make sense? That's a real important thing to keep everything organized. And that way, when you go to show off something on a page or in your modules, you don't have to worry about, when you click on tutorials, you see that there's 3 tutorials in there. Does everybody know when you go and put things in, hold on, okay. When you go to modules, this file structure will show up when you click on modules and then you click on add. Hold on one second. And you go to files. This is where that makes all the sense in the world. You know that those folders, everything that's under course files shows up. Everything under PowerPoint shows up under the PowerPoint header. Everything that shows up under images shows up under that. Manual by chapter shows up because I've got my files organized. So that's something that's really important so that you don't want -27. You don't want, the original copy and then 26 iterations of it. That's very annoying for you and it makes switching out content really hard. I've seen a lot of instructors create a folder in their files called feedback. Feedback chapter 1, feedback chapter 2, that's really awesome. Like if it's a guided reading review sheet, you can actually have it where you can give it to the students that way. Just whatever. Leverage your files to help you with feedback and whatnot. All right. So now we've copied. Now do you know what to do after you copy? After you copy, that's when you go in and you clean up your current shell. That's when you go in and, okay, this is the only thing that I ever add text to. This is, I only add text to my module header names. I never put dates on a page, on an assignment. I always use the actual tool to do that. But this is where I would come in here and edit anything that doesn't change when you adjust events and due dates. This is where you go in and take out assignments that you no longer want to employ for that semester. This is where you go in and add things, not before you copy, after you copy, because you want this course to be how your students are going to see it. Then after you do all that, you check your link validation. Use the link validator. Does anybody give me a red X if you've never heard of the link validator? Or a green check mark if you have seen it and you've used it. Good. No red X's? Oh, okay, one person at least. The brave person that doesn't know about the link validator. This will save you from looking non-purposeful. It'll make you look like you really know what you're doing, because you're going to go to settings after you copy. You're going to go to settings, and then there's this validate links in content. Now, I'm just going to preface it by saying, if this is linking to something outside of Canvas, and I do have some things linked outside of Canvas, it will show up. I've already checked all mine, so mine are good. But it took me, I have 3 courses: sociology, intro to social, dual credit, intro to social, and marriage and family. And I did all of these within 30 minutes. I went through every single link that said it was maybe invalid within 30 minutes. I did it while I was eating my lunch one day, and it was very easy, because when you click on a supposed or alleged link that's allegedly not valid, it opens in a new tab. You check to see that it is. Click X. Now, who can think of one instance where you might mistakenly pull in a link that links to, say, your fall 18 course? How would that happen? Does anybody know? When I remember things, I like to remember how or why they might happen. Let's see if anybody's typing. Does anybody know how or why that might happen, even if you didn't mean to? I'm looking on the chat. Flickr images sometimes break. That's true. But what if it's linked? How in the world would it get linked to your fall 18 course? And you copied and you adjusted events and due dates, but that link seems to, for some reason, it's linked to your 18 course. It's kind of a trick question. It might happen if you copy and paste a page. A lot of people are scared of using that content selector, and so they say, I'm just going to copy and paste all the information on this page in fall 18, and there's no images, it's just links and text, so I'm going to copy and paste it in my spring 19, and they forget to go update. Maybe a link to grades, maybe a link to, so if you find that you just want to grab something off a page from fall 18 or summer 18 because you really like the wording, you copy and paste it, put it in your spring 19 page, publish your page, stick it in modules, and then your students are saying, it says I don't have any rights to see this information. We see this all the time, and it's because instructors don't realize when you copy and paste it, Canvas isn't behind the scenes updating that link from grades in fall 18 to grades in spring 19. So you have to make sure, and that's what the link validator will help you check. So some of these have broken links, but they don't, because I've already checked them. But this is what it looks like. This is in an announcement, not a discussion. It says discussion, but that's an announcement. This is, these two things go link to the hardware. Under hardware, it goes to outside links, and that's why it's there. I've checked them. They're fine. This is a browser quiz question. These are fine. Everything on here works. But to actually, how does this course work? Let's see. I think this is fine. That might be one. I don't remember seeing that. See, I'll have to go and make sure that the update your notification preferences works, because I don't think I checked all those. I checked all the other ones. Phone must have rung. This BOSS program at Hines Community College, that is on the distance learning roadmap. It opens up. It's connected to an public Canvas course, but it shows up here. But it doesn't take long to check them, but always make sure you do the link validator, and then as you fix them and you know which ones need to disappear off this page and those that don't, you can restart the link validation process, and that number will decrease if you fixed it and it needed fixing. So I love the link validator. It really does make a world of difference. I also tell my students throughout the semester they can rack up points, and I keep track of this on my notes. Does everybody know what notes are in your grade book? I keep track of extra credit when they find a misspelled word or a link that doesn't work, and I find that it really doesn't work, because sometimes that happens. I keep track of their extra credit points, and I put it on the end. They can add it to whatever test they want or quiz or whatever. I fix these things as the semester goes along, so that when I do copy from spring of 19 to summer of 19, I've done that. So you might want to try employing something like that. You get somebody else to paint the fence with you, right, for you, and you supervise. Get them to comb through and find the get a fresh eye. Julie and I had a discussion about that today, about how it's really good to get a fresh eye to look over what you have been toiling away, designing and building and editing and updating and upgrading and adding and taking away. Sometimes we do have misspelled words and broken links that sometimes break, a week after. A lot of our instructors that are doing OER courses, and I know I've got an OER course that I've created for Intro to Soc. Sometimes those links break, so get those students to find those things for you and fix them immediately. And just tell them, say, look, I'm using Open Education Resources for you to have a lot more rich content or a lot more rich experience in this course. And if you find an issue, let me know, and I'll give you you can start stockpiling extra credit points, that kind of thing. So anyway, all right, so we've got the link validator in your Canvas course. What I want to talk about now, and we've copied, and we've got our course, and we're going to check it. Who knows what you should do after you have your course copied, your links validated? What should you do to be the last ditch effort of checking to make sure your course looks good? Or if the semester's already started and your students are telling you there's something wrong, what should you do? Anybody know? Student View. Julie Clark gets virtual chocolate. So there are two places that you can get to Student View. You can actually get to it on the home page. Oh, and the settings page. So settings page and home page. You always want to go through your course in Student View so that you get that student's eye view of what your course looks like. Make sure that the modules you want published are published. Make sure the things that you want in your modules are published. Make sure they can see the announcements, or they can't see them. I know a lot of instructors like to go to announcements and delay the deployment of the announcements. It does. It helps a lot. It lets you know, do your buttons work? And most of the times they do, but I always find that I find something that I didn't know about if I don't go through Student View. I have my modules open one unit at a time, so my getting started checklist, everything's there. Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. I made sure that I don't want to overwhelm my student, so I don't put all my modules open. And I tell them that. This is the first unit. Chapters 1 through 4, then they're going to have a test. The test comes at the end of chapter 1, and there it is. And I make sure that they can see it, and that they can access it. So that's something really, really good. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Because I want to talk about some new features of Canvas real quick. I have put these in this pre-semester tips and tricks. Not really new features, but we call these secret Canvas files. I actually have linked in here the secrets to Canvas that was presented 2 years ago at InstructureCon. So you can come in here and watch that. There's a few more that I have found that I have actually put linked in here. One of the new things in Canvas that I think everybody has access to, if you don't see it in your Canvas instance, talk to your e-learning department. Who uses the dashboard? And I actually have a page in here so you can read about it. But the dashboard, who gets so tired of having to scroll around looking for their courses? Give me a green check mark if you don't want to scroll up and down looking for your courses. You want to see what you want to see when you want to see it. Yes. All right, so did y'all know that you can drag and drop courses now? Give me a red X if you did not know that was deployed on December 18th. If yours doesn't, your institution may have decided to not. We didn't have any choice. I mean, I asked our dean of e-learning, and she didn't know that this was deployed on December 18th. We think it is an all over Canvas update. If yours doesn't do it, talk to your e-learning office. But one of our instructors said, which we were so proud, our instructor said, I was reading the Canvas release notes. And it said on December 18th, all Canvas users now can drag and drop cards on their dashboard. And Carrie was like, well, I didn't turn that on. So she asked me to go look. And somebody else in our department found, oh, it's already turned on, but we didn't do it. So Canvas turned it on. So go to your dashboard. When you're in card view, you can actually grab, like, the things that are most important for me, I want those to be the things that I see. The courses that I'm working on, I want those to be the ones that I see. So you can actually drag and drop them to be the order that you want. So if I wanted all my MSVCC trainings to be at the bottom and all my academic courses at the top, I can do that. So that's really awesome that's a new thing in Canvas as of December 18th. Does everybody know, I don't want to go over this if y'all already know, does anybody need to see how to favorite a course so that it shows up on your dashboard or in your courses? Does everybody know how to do that? If you want to see it, give me a red X to let me know that you have no idea how to make a course a favorite. Okay, good. So we're going to go to courses. I love telling people what they need to know, but I don't want to bore people. So, and we have a lot of instructors not know this. When you're in all courses, if it's starred, it's a favorite. If it's not starred, it's not a favorite. So you can come in here and take, there's some things you need to know. Now you look right here in Kung Fu Canvas, I'm a teacher and a student. Well, do I really need to be a teacher and a student? Is that going to put the card up there twice? No. If you unstar either one of them, the whole thing will not be starred. So do remember that. Also, what was the other thing? Oh, tell your students this. This is really important, and a lot of instructors don't know why this happens. For some reason, sometimes second 8 week starts and your students they've already taken a first 8 week and they're taking a full term. Their second 8 week doesn't show up and they think they're not enrolled in the course, and you've checked and they're enrolled. Tell them to scroll down, to go to all courses, and to scroll down to future courses, which I don't have any because they've all started. They should have a My Groups if they're in a group, and they should have future enrollment. And that's where they can star it once it's a current enrollment, but that's where their course will show up. I've had people ask me that. Sometimes it's already a current enrollment and it did not add it as a favorite for second 8 weeks. First 8 week it did, and current term it did, full term it did. But second 8 weeks, if your students say, I don't know where it is, it's not showing up on my favorites, you tell them to click on all courses. And that way they will see that. Very, very important. All right, let's go back to here. We know how to drag and drop. That's brand new. Message Students Who is one of my favorite things. I've created a page on this. You can come look at it here. If you want to message your students with a blind CC copy about, for one of the things that I want them to do in Intro to Soc is take the pretest before they do anything, and a lot of them did it. Some of them like, I want to study first. I'm like, no, don't. You can actually click on and message Students Who haven't been graded, scored less than, or scored more than, and then it sends a blind CC'd message. So this, if it's scored less than a 50, the students aren't going to see who else scored less than a 50. It'll only show it as them, because hence the blind CC. So do know that. That is one of my favorite tools, my favorite secret tools of Canvas, that a lot of instructors know about it and go, well, duh. And then some people go, oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever seen. Control K. I saw this for the first time about Control K, a trick that you can, when creating links to websites on a page, highlight the text on the page you want to create the link for, then press Control K on your keyboard to display this menu. Add the URL to the box, and then it tells you exactly how to do that. So that's something new that I had never seen before, and I like that idea. Kind of gives you a way to title things the right way. And anyway, another thing, who has a lot of items in their course and they want to move, they've imported Cengage direct deep links into their course, and they have to drag them all the way, the chapter 1 all the way up to the top, drag the chapter 1 assignment all the way up to the top. You can click on the edit for that item and move to. You can move it to, you can move to before or after certain modules. So let's just say you want to, and module items. So do know that that move to is your friend. That will save you a lot of time, especially if you're importing things and it shows up at the bottom of the page. You're importing publisher content, it shows them at the bottom of the page, and you need to move it into the correct module. Use that move to function, and the picture's there, and you can do that. Let's see, undelete. Who knows about undelete? Give me a green check mark if you know about undelete. So Kim Ellis knows. Well, duh. Does anybody not know about undelete? Give me a red X if you want me to show you undelete. I found some really funny comments about undelete in the Canvas community. And because I wonder why they don't publicize undelete. But it's because sometimes it doesn't work, and that's exactly why. They say 1 out of 1,000 times the undelete doesn't work, and it's not necessarily that it didn't work for anything in your course, but it may be that it didn't work for that one item. And the idea is, if you employ this undelete function in your course and you can't find what you deleted, contact Canvas, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So I'm on the home page of pre-semester tips and tricks. Let me go in here and delete. I think I've deleted something in here. You have to have something to delete that's been deleted to actually find it, and I think I do have something. So you're on the home page of your course that you deleted a test, and your students took the test. Oh my gosh. And you don't know what to do. You're freaking out. So you go to the home page URL. That's this up here. I'm highlighting it. I hope you can see that, where it says, the address for that course. Right after the course code number, which this pre-semester tips and tricks is 231036, I'm going to put a / undelete. Enter. Ta-da! You have your restore deleted items. This will help you in that semester when you have accidentally deleted something. I've deleted the Blackboard Collaborate module, so you can see I could restore it if I wanted to. If I did, it would restore it as a module, and I don't want to do that. These are the things that I deleted when we updated to our new interface that Brooke created for us, so it would be more design friendly. So I've got all those that were deleted. If it's a page, you have to go to Pages to find it. If it was a quiz, you have to go to Quizzes to find it and go put it back in the module that you want. But you can undelete things. If you don't see it here, what did I say to do? Anybody? If you don't see that deleted item here, what should you do? And I'm going to show you how. You should come over here to Help, and you should chat with Canvas Support Faculty, Canvas Support Hotline Faculty, or search Canvas Guides and see if you can find, an answer, which that's not going to help with undelete. Contact Canvas. That's great, Kim. An instructor couldn't find a course. It's a very long story. It had been deleted because an ELOR fee wasn't on there, and they recreated it, and Canvas helped me get the course back so that the instructor could get their course they built out. And then, long story short, Canvas can help in most instances, but that is always going to be under your help. Now, Hines looks different. The help button in Hines, let's see, it says help and resources with an I for information. The state board has a circle with a question mark, help. Look for your icon that you can go there and get help. Let's see. Yes, isn't that great, Kim? I can't believe they didn't tell us that. But I had an instructor tell us that, and I thought these are things that make our lives easier, so we can focus on feedback for our students instead of how does this work? This is taking me forever. So yes, love that. It's wonderful. All right, so let's go back to modules. We know how to undelete, and when you restore, even if you don't see it. Now, I have had this happen. This is a little caveat because I use this often. An instructor deleted a module. They undeleted it. They restored it. And it didn't come back exactly the way it was before. They had to recreate the module, but all the pieces parts were there. So do not panic. Just go recreate your module and go see if the quiz is there. Put it back in the module. Go see if your content page is there. Put it back in the module. Go see if your discussion board was there. Put it back in the module. That kind of thing. So that's the other thing that I found. And that's why they don't really tell a lot of instructors about it, because they don't want them to be disappointed. They don't want them to willy-nilly be going around deleting things. But the first thing you should do is check out Undelete. Second thing you should do is check out contact Canvas. And the third thing you can do, and they can do it all at the same time, is contact your e-learning office. And you can maybe do all three. I like to try to help myself first before I run to my boss, Carrie, and say, I've messed up, or I can't find how something does. So that's why I heavily rely on search the Canvas guides, reporting a problem. If I do know it's a problem and I've checked with my e-learning office at my college, I will report a problem, or I'll chat with Canvas and say, are y'all having any issues with X, Y, or Z? We had one instructor that all of her quizzes came over perfect from publishers, but there was some weirdness with a Canvas created quiz. 4 questions were messed up and they didn't know about it. So we told them this happened and they said, thank you so much. So a lot of times you can report a problem if you know from your e-learning office that nobody else is having this problem. You can report that problem and that will help Canvas keep everything running smoothly. All right, let's go back to modules and what have I forgotten to tell y'all about, because we've got about 6 minutes. Okay, we did the dashboard options. Oh, this is another thing that people don't know about when it comes to rubrics. And our instructors are really encouraged to use rubrics here at Hines. But they call me and they say, I'm using your interactive rubric and I have to go in and add the grade myself, because it's not going from, when I click save on my rubric, it is not putting the grade in the box. Who has had that? Give me a green check mark if you have had that happen to you and you just said, forget it, I'm not using this. Yes. All right. Well, especially for people who might be watching this recording, this is really important to know when you have got, I'm gonna go back to my grade book. Let's see. Thought I had grade book in here because I know it has, hold on. Here we go. I'm in grade, but I know that there are modules in here. I mean, there are assignments with a rubric in here. Oh, goodness. Leave student view. It's real important when you go into grade with a rubric, if you want that score to pop up in the grade box, it's real important that you set that rubric to grade. Use this for grading purposes, and I'm going to show you that. Hold on. I didn't know there was so much junk in here. I apologize. I got to clean this sucker out before grade book. Let's see. Where's a discussion? Here we go. All right. It does have a rubric on it. All right, so I'm here. I've added my rubric to my assignment. I want to click on this pencil, and there's directions for this in the Academy course. Click on the pencil, and it gives you this scary little, you can't edit this rubric because you don't have permission or it's being used in more than one place. Just go ahead and say okay. Say, okay, I'm not going to edit it. Because what you're doing is you're coming down here, and you're going to click on use this rubric for assignment grading. These are your options. Write free-form comments when assessing students. If you want to do that as well, you can click. That makes it a free-form rubric. If you want it to be a regular rubric, you just leave that unchecked. Remove points from rubric, which is new. I have not played with that yet. That is kind of new. I think it was a couple of updates ago. But we want to use this rubric for assignment grading. When you do that and you grade with the interactive rubric, it will pop that score into the box. But let's just say, and my Hines instructors will understand this, I want to grade with the rubric because outcomes are tied to this course for, say, institutional outcomes, but I want to give my students either 100 or an 80 or whatever. I don't want it to be the 16 points that are on the outcomes rubric. You don't have to use the rubric for assignment grading, and that's okay. Your institution may say, don't use this for assignment grading, especially if you're a weighted grades instructor. But when you use this rubric for assignment grading, however you interactively grade that rubric, it will pop it in that box. If outcomes are attached, it will go to the reporting tool that anyone with access can get to. If you don't use the rubric for assignment grading, you can still grade with the rubric. It will still send the if you actually go in and interact with the rubric, it will send those scores to the reporting tool, but it won't be part of the grade for the student. So that's I love that this does this, because we do use rubrics to track institutional outcomes, but I don't want it any part of my grading process because I'm a weighted points and I don't want 16 points in there. Confuses my students. You can also hide score total for assessment results if you want to. So that's all there. So when I click on use this rubric for assignment grading, I'll just click that. And then when I go to SpeedGrader, I'll show y'all real quick. View rubric, I'm going to grade with it and save it. It pops that 20 points right there. If I didn't have it clicked, it wouldn't pop those 20 points right there. All right, we have 1 minute. I didn't even get the chance to go over the most awesome thing that's in this course, which is your back to school checklist that also has the syllabus checklist added to it. Make sure you go in here. If you need to be added to it, Hines instructors, I will get you this, get you in here. It tells you everything. It talks about check your roster, which I left things in here for our K through 12 dual credit instructors. So if there's something in here, you can don't pay attention to that because we don't load our rosters. We just check our rosters. I will send you the Word document of the checklist. There's 2 checklists, back to school and syllabus. I'll send you the Word document of it if you want to use this for your institution. Like I said, I cobbled this together from a bunch of different ideas. And I will be glad to share this with you. But go through, and a lot of the things we talked about today are on here, and a lot of things that we didn't get to because it would take like 3 hours to do all this. Remember to publish your course. That's one of the things that a few students have called here to the e-learning office at Hines, and I can't see my course. And it had nothing to do with their course wasn't favorited. It just wasn't published. Make sure the items that you want seen are seen because they're published. That kind of thing. So there's a lot of reminders on these checklists, and thank you for coming. I feel like we went really fast over a lot of different things. If you want to stay in